Yo, White Label Radio, classic hip hop from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And we have a special guest in the building, my man MC Eiht in the building. What up, homie?
Chill, what's cracking?
Yeah, that was classic right there, man. What you got going on, man?
Just chilling, people. Just chilling, slow motion.
Okay, stay out the way, right?
Yeah, can't complain.
That's what's up. But, this is classic hip hop, so I'm going to take it back, like I was talking to you in the hallway or whatever. I remember getting your maxi single from the Rodeo Swap Me from Steve. This is Compton. You remember that?
This is Compton, I give it up. This is Compton, I give up nothing and give it up.
Exactly. My mom's in the garage. I still got that cassette tape. I lived in Hawthorne, so we used to walk to the Rodeo Swap Meet.
Okay, yeah.
So I remember that.
It's authentic then.
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I went to Lusinger High School, and I don't know. You remember you performed at
I remember that, me and DJ Slip.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna tell you this story. I never did school. I told moms, I was like, yo, mom, I'm not feeling good. She's like, I know you just want to stay home, but you can't just stay home. You gotta come with me. So we at the nursery buying flowers and shit like that, and we listened to K-Day. And K-Day was like, yeah, we got MCA and DJ Slip at Lusinger at lunchtime. I'm like, I never leave school. I'm like, no, mom, I need to go back. She said, nigga, no, you can't go back now. You fake like you was sick. You gotta stay with me.
Yeah, me and Slip used to do all the little high schools back in the days. He used to DJ all the little. Back then, they used to let us get down at the during lunch programs. So
exactly.
We did Lusinger, we did Washington. We used to do all the schools in LA. Man.
Was it MC Troubles with you too, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay, MC Troubles.
Used to get busy.
That was dope. They don't do that in schools no more. They need to bring that back. They need to bring that back.
That'd be good for the students, man. Show some support in the community with this hip hop thing,
Especially their favorite artists, because I know at the time K-Day was pushing you. You was one of our favorites. So to have you come to the school, it made us more inclined to want to stick around. Like I said, most kids wasn't in tune to it,
I mean, I used to, when I was a kid going to school, they used to let the break dancers and stuff come up into our school in the auditorium. So when the opportunity presented itself for me to get down like that, I was a young cat still, but it was exciting to me, man. Go around different high schools, see all the high school kids. Cause I would consider myself young still too. I was only like 18, so it was cracking.
Oh yeah, he's one of us.
Yes, indeed.
Did you know that day you went to Lusinger, Corrupt was in the audience?
No.
Corrupt went to Lusinger with us.
That's right.
He came from Philly, he went to school with us or whatever, and he was there. I remember that. So now it's crazy how he a West Coast legend like you are or whatever, and he was in the audience, probably looking at what you was doing and like, yo, I need to, moving.
Shout out to my nigga Corrupt.
Yeah, that's my dude right there. So I'm gonna take it back. Like I said, one of my favorite MCA songs, CMW songs, and this is Compton. So I'm gonna play that for you right now. So of course you probably hear it, bring back some memories, and we gonna come back and talk a little bit more. This is Compton, White Label Radio, Tasco. Let's go. This is Compton right here on White Label Radio, and Eiht was telling me that was his first joint you recorded. That was your first joint ever recorded?
That was my first.
Got it turned up?
1, 2.
Yeah. There we go.
That was my first joint as like official Compton's Most Wanted. My first joint I ever recorded was a techno cut. We used to do techno music over here.
Yes.
We was heavy on techno.
Yes, we was.
So DJ Slip used to mess with Unknown DJ and Lonzo from the record group. They used to do a lot of 12, remember? So 12 inches, man. So they used to do a lot of beat 12 inches. So Slip did this song called Avion.
Okay.
And I just was doing some talking. That was my first ever recorded. Right?
You wasn't rapping, you was just talking?
Nah, I was just talking.
Okay.
Some chants and some stupid shit.
Okay.
That's how I cracked it. And my first official song was Rhymes Too Funky.
Okay. Do you have that first joint you did?
No.
You don't?
Slip probably got it.
Okay,
I guarantee you.
So I need to go holler at Slip and dig it up, huh?
It's called Let's Do This.
I'm gonna do some research to see if we can play that.
My first official song was Rhymes Too Funky.
Okay.
Off the Compton compilation.
And who's on that compilation?
Man, Compton's Most Wanted, Jolly J, Joe and Master Rick, Chuck Smalls, The Real Master Ron, Vanilla C, PG-13. I mean, a lot of local cats that was coming up back then, like early, like late 80s, like 87, 88.
Okay. And you from Compton, so did you know at the time when you was doing what you was doing that it was gonna be legendary?
Well, when I started rapping, basically it was just, man, I was banging, you know what I'm saying? And Toddy T was like our hero. Toddy T, Mixmaster Spade, Mixmaster King, DJ Var, them cats, you know, DJ Pooh. So I was basically mimicking them. And me being from the neighborhood, I just wanted to big up my neighborhood. So me and my homeboy Kevin, we went out and we just made a tape about the neighborhood. I never took it serious, you know. I like to rap, I listen to Run DMC and shit like that, but I didn't take rap serious because I was gangbanging, you know. But when I made the song, it got around the neighborhood and niggas was like, man, you know, you got skills. So from there, I just started taking it serious and I just started writing songs. But I never thought about, you know, where it is today and movies and soundtracks and all that. I was just a local cat just trying to get on, you know.
Was anybody thinking of that? Like during that time, was anybody really thinking like, I'm gonna feed my family with making these tapes or this music?
No, man.
It was just all fun?
I never thought of it like that. And if I thought of it like that during the transitions of the tribulations I went through in rap music, I would have never stayed in it. I would have never stayed in hip hop if it was for the fact that I came into it with the mentality like some cats today, like just I'm finna feed my family with it, you know. I was one of those, you know, southern baby cats. My mom's was from Mississippi, so I was finna work, you know, period.
Yeah.
Rap music, you know, that was just like a hobby, you know. I sat in my room and wrote raps and recorded on my little tape recorder, you know. I never thought about being, you know, movies and going to award shows and riding in limos and going overseas and doing tours and concerts. I was just a young cat from Compton going, I can put two rhymes together that sound good and the homeboys like it.
So when did you make that transition? When did you click in your head like, I can really do this and I can really, you know, take this to the next level?
I mean, I always thought about, you know, I had the ability to do it, but I guess when, you know, when I did Music to Drive By,
okay,
and I started seeing, you know, the results of rap. I mean, because I put out albums, man, and didn't see shit. I didn't see no money. I was still in the neighborhood. My first two albums, I was still on the block, hanging, you know, so when I did Music to Drive By, and then Menace came, and then I started doing St. Ives commercials, and then I started going places I usually go, and strangers and people, you know, be like, "Ooh, I saw you on TV last night." So I started going from there and going, hey, maybe I shouldn't be on the block today, and maybe I shouldn't be going over here now. And then cats start telling me, hey, you can't come over here and hang no more. You can't pull up in that, or, you know, because I be in a $100,000 car still going to the neighborhood where niggas getting raided and selling dope at. Because I'm still feeling like I'm a part of what, you know. So niggas was having to tell me, you know, you getting beyond that stage. So that's when I started recognizing who I was becoming, you know.
Okay. And you mentioned Menace to Society, so that is epic. Like your part go down in history. Cats refer to you, you know, as, you know, like Superman type of deal. Your part, how did that come about?
We started to, you know, hip hop was getting into the movie scene, you know. Pop did Juice, Cube did Boys in the Hood. So, and then me hanging with Cube and them, I was real good friends with JD from the Lynch Mob. Shout out to my boy JD. I used to hang with them. So John Singleton saw me at the movie set, put me down for the soundtrack growing up in the hood. So from there, with the video and all that, Hughes Brothers, who's from Pomona, started doing Minister Society, whatever. I wasn't into it, but my manager at the time knew somebody who was working on the script or whatever, so I think they had already had a cast together, whatever. So they called me in to read because they wanted Ren to read, MC Ren, shout out to Ren. They wanted MC Ren to read, and I think he went in and read, but he had some previous obligations, so he couldn't do it. So they called me. So I think I was on tour in Cleveland. I flew back. I read for him. Didn't think nothing of it, you know. Like I said, I'm usually disappointed. So I'm like, shit, they gave me a shot. That was big. Fuck it, let's get back on tour. So, but they called me back again a week later. So I flew back home. Went back out on the road, then like a week later they called me, so I flew back home again, and they was like, you got the part. So that's when I got introduced to, you know, Jada and the Wrens and Tyron, and, you know, Pac was there.
So, okay, you mentioned Pac now, you know, I'm gonna ask right now, was you there when he put the beats on the Hughes Brothers?
No, because by that time, he was already off the movie.
Okay.
He was off the movie by then.
Okay.
So this was just one particular day I didn't have to shoot.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't there.
Because he told the story, I mean, he's told the story that like he beat them all up, but then Kane.
I know Albert and Allen. They real cool peoples, man. No disrespect to them. They real cool brothers, man. But Pac, you know, everybody know Pac. You know, I know Pac. Man, I toured with Pac, so it was just. He felt disrespected because of how it went about him getting off the movie.
Yeah.
You know.
But Kane was recent. I seen an interview with Kane. Kane came out or whatever, and he said that the Hughes Brothers put the beat on Tupac. He said that he seen like recently everybody thought that Tupac came in there, you know, rah, whatever. But recently Kane's been on you know on some social medias or whatever talking about that the Hughes Brothers wasn't punks. And
I won't say that.
And they held their own.
They held their own, but you know, when it's one of you and it's 13, 14 cats chasing you down, I mean, it's like really defenseless.
Yeah. So that was DJ Muggs, MC Eiht Heavyweight, and when that joint came out, I was so shocked because you was doing so much West Coast stuff, and to come out with DJ Muggs, that actually took it to a whole other level. That actually solidified to me your real MC talent, because before that it was the same groove every time, whatever. So it showed how diverse you was.
You gotta be diverse, man. I mean, I'm an MC first. I know I come from Compton and I represent Compton to the fullest, but you gotta be a connoisseur of music. You know, I'm a big 783 fan, so.
Okay. For those that don't know, 783 was DJ Muggs' group before he got with Cypress Hill.
So, you know, respect to Muggs. When I just had the opportunity to deal with Muggs, and I mean, let's face it, Cypress Hill and Be Real and just the production and the Soul Assassin. So it was a no-brainer.
That's what's up. Well, let's get into. I've been talking about the fact that you were nominated for a Grammy, and it's off the Kendrick Lamar, you know, saying Good Kid, Mad City, or whatever. How did you link up with Kendrick Lamar?
Honestly, he knew my son's sister.
Oh, wow.
My son, I got a 9-year-old son, and you know his sister, she knows him real good. So I guess they was in the studio one night, you know, kicking it or whatever, and my name came up, and he asked her, like, you know, that's your brother's father, you know, whatever. She's like, yeah. So he was like, oh, can you call him? And I want to get him on my project. So she called me up. You know, I chatted with him, gave him my number. I ain't hear from him for probably like a month and a half, you know. As we know now, he was out there grinding, getting his thing cracking. So went to the studio. He told me the concept of the song. He played me the beat, told me the concept. and I put it down, you know, and not knowing, you know, because I've done a lot of stuff with other artists, you know, it might not make it,
yeah.
You know, that's just the up and downs of the hip hop game as far as the record labels are concerned, and who controls what goes down. So
yeah.
I was just surprised when they called and said it was actually gonna make the album, and I was one of the, you know, rare artists who was gonna be featured on the project. So,
yeah, because I think he only had you as far as outside features besides his crew, of course.
Right.
But you was the only one out of everybody that made the cut.
So, you know, it had to be approved by Dre and Interscope and all of them. So it went down, and everybody thought it was a classic record, and ended up being one of the top songs on his album. It was the title track, Good Kid, Mad City. So right now it's nominated for a Grammy. So congratulations to Kendrick on that. And just being the struggles from hip hop, man, I've been here for a long time.
Yes.
And just to see, you know, a cat come from my area and people recognize what he's done. And just to be a part of it in the song that we collaborated on the album, you know, because it's nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammy. So just to be a part of the project, man, you know, coming from Compton and being humble like that, it's a good thing, you know.
Definitely, it's a dope record. I remember when I first heard it, I didn't know that was you. I was like, this is a dope MC. He sound familiar. And then I heard it a couple of times, and I was like, that's MC Eiht.
For sure.
I was like, oh, okay. I see the connection, Compton, the whole nine or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what's up.
I mean, we got MCs from Compton, you know, Game, Quick, you know, myself, Dre, whatever. But you know, just for them to come to me, you know, I think my art of storytelling, as far as, you know, what goes on in the streets around here in Compton, has been kind of consistent. So shout out to TDE and Kendrick and all them for looking out.
I mean, that whole validation solidified you as a legend. I already knew you was a legend because I'm a hip hop connoisseur, but that solidified you as a legend in the game to the new cats, the young cats, that 16-year-old that didn't know Compton's Most Wanted from, you know, whatever, you know.
Yeah, and now we get cats, you know, they look, you know, they still playing minutes on TV. So now for the cats that are the 17 and 18, and they get to see that and then hear me on Kendrick Project, and you know, it's just introducing and opening the door for us to continue with this hip-hop thing that we trying to do as far as West Coast music is concerned, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So I want you to introduce this song. We're gonna play the Kendrick Lamar song, so can you introduce it for us, the White Label Radio, the whole nine, you know?
Yeah, you know I do. Boost That Music Official right here, White Label Radio, MC Eiht, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, yeah.